Hunter Biden once again causing chaos on Capitol Hill. The president's son making a surprise and dramatic appearance at the House hearing to consider holding him in contempt of Congress for defying that congressional subpoena last month. Hunter's political stunt was setting off fierce reaction.
What is Hunter Biden so afraid of? Why can't you show up for a congressional deposition? You're here for a political stunt. This is just a PR stunt to you. This is just a game that you are playing with the American people.
What do you think about the fact that the chairman on multiple occasions gave this witness the opportunity to come before the full committee and he agreed to that?
We issued a congressional subpoena, and I know with your constitutional law background, you know exactly what that means, and he should have showed up. And because of your vote and because of your statements, you should be voting to hold this man in contempt of Congress today, right now.
Well, it has been a stunning Wednesday morning. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Restoring America editor for the Washington Examiner and senior fellow for the Independent Women's Forum, Kaylee McGee-White, and Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo. Right now, lawmakers are still debating whether to hold Hunter in contempt after his shocking appearance. Republicans calling it an organized publicity stunt as it all unfolded live in front of cameras this morning. Hunter arrived, sat right in the front row, his team grinning from ear to ear. He crossed his arms, and then about 10 minutes later, he got up and left.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As Marjorie Taylor Greene was speaking. On his way out, he was hit with a flurry of questions by reporters, including our own Hillary Vaughn.
Mr. Biden, why did you put your dad on speakerphone with your business partners if he had no involvement in your business?
Do you have a dad? Did he call you?
Yes.
Answer the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
But why did you need to talk to him during business meetings if he had nothing to do with your business?
Whoa. You're dangerous. You're very dangerous.
Is there anything you'd like to say next?
There was asking Hillary Vaughn, do you have a father? Do you talk to him on the phone? I have a father. I talk to him on the phone. My father, curiously, never made it on speakerphone when I held White House meetings. He's never made it on Fox News meetings either. So not sure where he was going with that. Raymond, in some ways, this was taking a move from the Trump playbook. Trump knows how to command a microphone.
You got it.
Brilliant Trump showing up in court. This had the effect of making Congress look like a circus, and it's happening to Hunter. So I thought it was a very smart move. But I wonder the degree of White House coordination. We know Biden knew about the first appearance. We knew Democrats coordinated with this.
Well, the Democrats here clearly knew. They had signs printed up with Comer's words inviting him to either a public hearing or a deposition. But in truth, what he said was, come to a private deposition and then you can have a public hearing.
Yep.
That's what he said. So it doesn't matter. This theatrical stunt, you know, when I watched this, Kayleigh, I kept thinking, we had the insurrection show that is still on national tour. Now we have the opening of the Hunter hearing show. This is an entirely new front on the theatrical stunt parade, but it has a political purpose: to distort public opinion, to make Hunter Biden look like a victim, and to confuse the public. But it doesn't matter. He's in violation of the subpoena. The subpoena is a legislative document, it's a legislative tool, and it requires him to come and sit in a deposition. That's what he's required to do. He's now not done it twice, but shame on the Republicans for not being ready. They should have been ready for this, and I would have said, swear the witness in. We're going to question him about his violation of the subpoena. Let's start
why not
there.
do something like that? And as Sir Michael Singleton told me last hour, which I thought this was interesting, formerly led HUD under Trump, by the way, that's who he is. So why not actually do that? Why not go ahead and take Hunter Biden up on his offer to go ahead, swear you in, let's get the game started now, and take it all the way to Election Day.
Right, push it.
And I thought that was interesting, politically speking. I don't know that that serves the country, but then, quite frankly, this didn't serve the country.
No, you got to move.
No, it didn't.
You got, like Trump, you got to dance and be willing to improvise when things come at you. He does that.
And he does it well. Look, you know, Raymond, you make an important point. I want to underline what's happening here. So Hunter said, I will come testify publicly, but congressional lawmakers say, no, your subpoena said a deposition. Now, there was a bit of either amnesia or intentional deception. I'm going to play it for you and let you decide. Here's Jamie Raskin today.
On December 6th, Hunter Biden's lawyer reiterated that Hunter Biden was willing to accept the chair's original request and once again offered to appear on December 13th or any other date in December to answer any question pertinent and relevant to the subject matter. He again raised concerns about closed-door sessions. That's what brings us to today, Mr. Chairman. He has materially, substantially, in good faith, complied with what your requests were.
He complied with the subpoena.
So Jamie Raskin saying we work with people who want to testify. Oh, wait, Jamie, here you were in 2022 when Steve Bannon offered to testify publicly. Oh, and here was your colleague Joe Lofgren of the J6 committee. Watch.
This goes on for hour after hour after hour. We want to get all our questions answered, and you can't do that in a live format.
Would it be closed door with Bannon, or do you want to, because he could go up there and pontificate if it was a public live hearing?
The way that we have treated every single witness is the same, that they come in, they talk to the committee. If they're going to take a deposition, they're sworn under oath. It's videotaped, it's recorded, and then we take it from there.
So Steve Bannon, Emily, held in contempt of Congress, now subject to prosecution. He doesn't get to set the terms. He has to have a sworn deposition. Hunter Biden, you get to pick.
Of course, we have been highlighting and emphasizing that stark contrast and that hypocrisy about the Biden family and the immunity they enjoy since minute one of this. I think what we saw today, this display of hubris, is a further step in that direction. So remember when Hunter Biden, got to orchestrate the presser in the parking lot, right? He has this command of the news media, if only that he is the subject of all the headlines, right? I think he's sort of the fool that is accidentally in the right place. But to your point, I thought today was clearly a stunt. I thought it made him look shameful, pitiable, and ridiculous. But it could have been absolutely pounced on by the Republicans. Yep. As he sashayed in under that canvas of like, I'm a Biden, I can do what I want, it would have been fantastic if they had sort of squished him in that way under the confines and the structure of the law that he continues flouting. And to this really important point, remember that the press secretary confirmed that the president had spoken to his son, Hunter Biden, before that December 13th stunt. So the purpose of today, as Jim Jordan pointed out, was to ascertain, the deadline was today. Did you get guidance from the president on flaunting that subpoena? Did the president weigh in and suggest in any way for you to ignore the subpoena that you just described, why its powers are so significant? And so today now in this shell game, that's not being the highlight. And I just want to conclude by pointing out what Hillary Vaughn underscored, which is in that exchange that you played in the intro, Hunter Biden didn't deny that his father, the vice president at the time, was on speakerphone and in those calls. In fact, when he said, do you have a dad? Does he call you? That is insinuating that his dad, the vice president, called him during the meetings. And then, yes, no denial that indeed he put him on speaker during those all too important meetings with other countries' businessmen.
And Harris, those are the facts. Mike Johnson, 22 times Biden talked to his son's business associates, 16 times Biden lied about it. We have that. We'll pop it up.
Well, what's important about what Emily just pointed out is that that's why attorneys tell you not to talk to a scrum of media when you're coming out of the courtroom.
Thank you.
Nobody does it like Donald Trump. Like, he's not Donald Trump. He's coming out. By the way, I have had several people reach out to me, and I don't know, what the situation will look like down the line. But there were so many cameras there that people thought they spotted some that might have been there for his documentary that's being worked on. I can't confirm that. But what you can see is an appetite for a lot of video with Hunter Biden. Yep. And what I said last hour is, well, this makes him just look like the clown sideshow that he is. Does that engender, you said sympathy for Hunter Biden. I don't think Americans really care about Hunter Biden. But they do care about his dad because he's commander-in-chief and our national security is the thing. And if he can be bribed because of something that Hunter did, that's why we care. Yep. So if he becomes this, you can't control him. Now he's going to be in documentaries potentially, so on and so forth. Does that make the president then more, victimized? I mean, does it make it look a little, oh, you got to feel bad for grandpa. He can't control his 57-year-old son. He's out there just acting like a fool, showing up at hearings, blah, blah, blah.
They're trying to confuse the argument. They're trying to confuse the facts, and they're doing a good job of it. And when Hillary Vaughn gets more than any member of that oversight committee from Hunter Biden, we have a problem.
Well said. Ooh. And the top question at the briefing should be about this, so we'll see. But Kaylee, speaking of Hunter's dad, President Biden had some thoughts to offer on what should happen to people who don't show up for their subpoenas. Watch, we'll get your reaction.
What's your message to people who defy 5 congressional subpoenas on the January 6th committee.
I hope that the committee goes after them and holds them accountable.
Should they be prosecuted by the Justice Department?
Yes.
Wonder if DOJ will take his advice.
Right, and the Democrats' hypocrisy on this, I think even how the Democrats planned, even towards the start of the week, for not a single one of them to vote to hold Hunter Biden in contempt. So this was clearly a coordinated effort on their part. But this points to something larger within the Democratic Party, which is that they often look past the long-term institutional damage that they do and that their agenda does for short-term political gain. The fact that they would ignore a person ignoring their own congressional authority, what kind of precedent does that set? It means that in the future, witnesses are going to feel comfortable setting their own terms for when they appear before Congress, or even flat out ignoring congressional requests. So what the Democrats have done here is they have actually undermined Congress's own authority simply so that they can protect Joe Biden and his son. And they've done this on multiple other occasions. You think back to the Democrats pushing for the end of the filibuster for judicial appointments. You think to what they're doing right now by trying to remove Trump from the 2024 ballot. Do we not see how each of these things have backfired? The point is, though, that they don't care. They're just interested in the immediate.
Yeah, and Nancy Mace, to that point, Raymond has said, I voted to hold members of my own party in contempt. Are you holding your breath for Democrats to do the same to their own?
Not going to happen. It won't happen. But the theatrics will go on because they've already proven the political power of that with the January 6th insurrection storyline. That has worked. Biden was selling it last week. It will continue. This is just a new storyline.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.